to Hidden in the Universal Vault. I'm Ryan, your host. So, I thought that we would go ahead and take a look at a biographical pick, more or less based on a tragedy of one of the West's notorious outlaws. As we take a look at Heath Ledger, Orlando Bloom, Naomi Watts, and Jeffrey Rush all star in 2003's Ned Kelly. The back of the DVD says 2004, but I looked this up. This was a 2003 movie. I'm going to get this straight off the back. This movie right here is a masterpiece. This is a great movie. For those who don't know the story of Ned Kelly was he's a tragedy. Basically, he was an innocent young man. He was a very caring guy. But as soon as his family gets sent off to jail for a wrongly committed crime, he becomes an outlaw. And the whole movie takes place in Australia, 1871. The story of Ned Kelly has been told before. Its first time this has been told in the big screen was the 1970 Mick Jagger version. Mick Jagger played Ned Kelly. And I'm going to tell you right now, Heath Ledger blows out of the way. I watched a featurette which talks a little bit about the Mick Jagger version, and oh boy, was that acting bad. But in this case, this movie is great. A lot of people think that Heath Ledger won for Joker, but I'm going to say this right now, this is a better performance than he did in Joker. I'm going to run down what the plot is about, but if you're familiar with the story of Ned Kelly, he was an outlaw and formed the Kelly Gang. They would go over and try to stop the Chinese democracy. It's really a really hard story to talk about, but this actually had a pretty good cast. In addition to the four people I talked about, it also features Joel Edgerton, one of his earlier roles. Yeah, Joel Edgerton is in this movie. Now, this is actually released on the Focus Features banner right here, but in fact, this movie was put out by Universal Studios. It's still done by Studio Canal Working Title Films. It's directed by Giorgio Jordan, I think is the guy who directs him in this. He has directed Heath Ledger in a movie before that in 1999. Not sure what that movie is. But, wow, is this movie great. Like I said, the cast was fantastic. It's an interesting story. He was a big celebrity in Australia. Obviously, Australia. There's not much but discard. But he was a big star in Australia, though this movie is just really good. I was really surprised of how well this was. There's some great action. It can get very violent. This has one of the bigger downers endings in any film. I almost got a little teary-eyed. Essentially, no one wins. This is just an example of two wrongs doesn't make it right, or something like that, or two rights doesn't make it wrong, however you want to say that, but it's really good. Naomi Watts is in this, though there is some great scenery. I don't know about a western setting that just has really good scenery, but this movie has some great cinematography. And yeah, it's really good. I really think this is well made. It was written by Nelson Waz and Linda House. No, they produced it. It was written by John Michael McDonough. I don't know if he's anybody familiar. It's based on the book Our Stranger. But I gotta tell you, it's a sad movie. It ends very sad, but really, the performance from Heath Ledger should have got him the Oscar. This movie should have got him at least the Oscar. Orlando Bloom was good. There's a lot of violence in the film. The thick Australian accents might get to some people, but keep in mind, Heath Ledger's from Australia, so he's from Australia. I think Orlando Bloom's from Australia because he sounds Australian. This is a movie that also came out around the time. I think this movie actually came out in 2003. This is before Orlando Bloom would set sail in Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. But I gotta tell you, this cast is just really good. I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna run out of battery soon, but I don't know what else to say about this movie. Then I would say, Yeah, this movie is this. I'm gonna tell you right away. This is going on the end of the year's best list of movies that I watched. This movie definitely is gonna make a list. I already have two movies put on that list, but yeah. So not much to say. I'm gonna run out of battery soon. I'm trying to think. Is there any negatives with the film? I guess if you're not into the thick Australian accent, you might not get. You might not even get really much out of this. It starts slow. He's it makes you want to like the man so much, and it shows you how well done this is. And yeah, it's sad the way it ends. I'm not going to spoil what happens at the end. You're just going to have to watch the movie. But if you haven't seen Ned Kelly, like I said, check this movie out. So in the end, am I able to recommend Ned Kelly? I would say yes, yes, and yes. This may be my favorite Heath Ledger movie. This is probably my favorite Heath Ledger performance. My favorite Heath Ledger movie, Orlando Bloom was great. Not Jeffrey Ross. Jeffrey Rush was fantastic. And actually, Orlando Bloom and Jeffrey Rush were Jeffrey Rush. No, Rush. That tongue twist. I keep thinking of Roastmaster Jeff Ross. That's who I keep thinking of. But yeah, this movie is just wow. This movie is fantastic. When the law tries to silence him, a legend is born. Yeah, he basically goes on a vengeance to basically do his own take of justice, and it focuses on the Chinese democracy, trying to go after the Chinese and saying the Chinese and all that. It's really hard to talk about when you make a film about one of the most notorious outlaws in American history. Well, he's big in Australia. Everybody still idolizes him in Australia. Many people in Australia will idolize Ned Kelly because he's almost like the Australian version of Charles Manson. Not to compare Manson with him, because Manson and Ned Kelly are two different people. That's like comparing apples and oranges. But I'm trying to think, is there anything else I can say about this film? I think, like I said again, see this film. I know Shout has this on Blu-ray. I'm tempted to get Shout Select, but it's probably going to be expensive, but very, very cool. There's actually some pretty good special features. There's 2 additional trailers. Ned Kelly in Pop Culture is the only featurette. And the real Kelly Gang is not featurette, it's just still images. But like I said, just check this movie out. I don't know what else to say. I have a hard time reviewing movies, but I'm going to say, not bad discard. Could have been different, but like I said again, it's definitely worth watching. And like I said, it's not a Focus Features film. This is a Universal movie. So yeah, check the movie out. That's all I can say. Like I said, I tried to make it long, but I'm more rambling. I don't have much to say about this, but check out Ned Kelly. It's definitely worth a watch. If you want to check the Mick Jagger version, you can check that out. I'm probably not, because this is the Ned Kelly I want to watch. I probably might even give this a rewatch again. So maybe next year or 2 years down the road, I might do a re-review and give more detail about this movie. Yeah, check this out. Don't much to say. Thank you for watching this sort of long, short-ish review for Hidden in Universal Vault. Like I said, check Ned Kelly out. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's a really good movie, a masterpiece. A++++++. The action was good. Cinematography was good. Lighting's good. Writing was just perfect. And that new director, what was his name again? Giorgio Jordan. Talk about a director. This man's done his homework. And for a new director, I've never watched any of his movies. He nails it with this movie. And definitely check out Ned Kelly. That's all I can say. Thank you once again for checking out this review. Sorry I didn't go much detail into this film, but like I said, normally when a movie is good, I'll talk a lot about it. But in this case, if you want to know the real story of Ned Kelly, I'll have a link on the bottom with the Wikipedia page, and you guys can check out the real Ned Kelly, what that story was. If you want more detail, I'm not great at doing reviews, but definitely check the movie out. That's all I have to say. I'm Ryan Kennard. Thank you for watching the video. I'll come back next time for another review of a different movie. Not sure what's going to be. But until then, bye.